And there are really three aspects of ego, two of which are perfectly fine. We get to keep them. And the third one we have to ruthlessly go after, because that's the source of suffering. So the first one is what I call the ego of a sage, which is the recognition, I am this self, I am the infinity of divine love that is in me. So that is to be cultivated by all means. That is what makes our real nature, the self, increasingly clear to us. Then we have the ego of aspiration, which is also absolutely precious, and it's this, the recognition, the intellectual recognition that I'm the self, I'm not the body, and I commit myself absolutely to realizing that reality, to self-realization, by whatever language and whatever way, but it says this commitment, this aspiration. So those two kinds of ego are absolutely precious and absolutely necessary. And we don't lose them until we leave the body or we enter spaces of complete beyondness. That's a new word. And then there's the other stuff, which is the I, me, mind that grabs, that has desire. It's basically a play of desire, aversion, and confusion. And that's what keeps us spinning from death to death. Ego, the way we usually use that word, you know. So that's the rajasic and the tamasic aspects of ego that just create beginningless suffering. And think about that, beginningless suffering that we have been caught in. But it's beginningless, but it has an end. And that is the realization that it was never real to begin with. That's how something beginningless can end. And this physical universe that we perceive is that dream, like the beginningless dream of suffering that was never real in the first place. In the same way the physical universe is that. All these different universes. It's something that the mind made up, something that the mind didn't even make up. This is where language really hits its boundaries. It's something that mind perceives as though it was made up. Maybe we can say it that way. And it's all subject to that innermost core of who we are. So that in itself, just to understand that, is a figure ground shift where we realize that the power that really runs the show here is not the physical matter, because that's how we've all been raised, that physical matter is primary, and it's somehow, in some way we can't explain, give birth to consciousness, like conscious beings. Like the gross can give birth to the subtle. It's not how it works. The subtle gives birth to the gross, the appearance of the earth element here in physical reality. And all that is this physical world is the way the self holds us in an embrace of absolute love, because every part of it is created to bring us home to ourselves. Every experience we have is about that. And the more we realize that, the more we live in an incredibly friendly universe, even though we sometimes lose that, but we can come back to that. And every time we come back to that, we'll perceive it more deeply. The incredible love and caring of this reality that we're privileged to experience.